Hello, everybody. I have a treat for you today. It's Anna coming to you from my home office. Let me just see how I get. Okay, here we go.
Nicolette, see if this is going to work. Yay,
Hi.
you're connected you. Hi, gorgeous. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, it's so good to connect with you. You're
Yeah. How are you this beautiful morning?
wonderful. How is the weather there in Brisbane?
I'm good. I'm actually at the Gold Coast today.
Oh, you're at the Gold Coast.
Yeah. So
Right.
I had a client here yesterday, and I said, "Well, I'll come to you because I like a good excuse to go to the beach."
Oh, wonderful. Okay, awesome. Well, let me introduce you to my viewers today. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Anna and I'm a manifesting coach, and I have invited the gorgeous Nicolette, and she's just said where she's at the moment, from at the Gold Coast. And Nicolette is an intuitive healer. She helps people unblock their energy to help them live a fuller life. So she's also an intuitive artist. I'll let her tell you about that. It's amazing. And she does meditation. I love how you do your crystal bowl meditation on the beaches. It's so beautiful. And I'll share where we met. Nicolette and I met just a few months ago at an energy alignment in Sydney. And I just loved her energy and her presence. And she was just really, yeah, just really gorgeous and kind. And I was watching because I didn't know anybody in that group, and she did because she's been there a few times for energy alignment with Stanzi. And yeah, we connected, and I've been following what she's doing. I'm actually so impressed with what you do. So, Nicolette, tell us what you
Thank
do.
you.
Tell us how you help people with energy.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, I'll just do a little background on
Sure,
how I came into this. So,
absolutely.
5 years ago, I reached a bit of a turning point, and my marriage came to an end. And after that, not long after that, I left the family business. So those two things in my life were very pivotal and very, I was left feeling like, what is my identity now that I'm not a wife? Now that I'm not a part of this family business, which I, was born into. But I knew that there was something else calling me, and I knew that that I needed to do a lot of inner work to heal myself and discover what was going on in here and what it was that I had to offer the world. So that's just a little backstory. So I've really spent the last 5 years immersing myself in healing programs like with Stanzi.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of Tony Robbins and a whole range of other healing modalities that I've studied. And along the way, I rediscovered my artistic talents as well. So I was always told by people that I'm a bit too emotional, a bit too soft, a bit too I very much wear my my heart on my sleeve, but you really know what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking because it comes out. And I realized that if I developed that, then that in turn comes into manifest deeper connections with people and brings that out in other people, which means that they get to tap into a part of themselves that they need to heal. So what I do with shifting energy for people is, and what I've really learnt from my study, but it's more been about tapping into my own gifts, is that we have these different energy centers in our body. And when we go through life and we're conditioned, and you know this, Anna, from all of the work that you do with people, we're conditioned and we get these filters over the top of these energy centers that block the energy from flowing. And when we have, people say, oh, I want to get out of my head and into my heart. Well, there's an emotional block there. There's an energetic block there. Yes. And so I really work with people. I channel a lot of energy in my sessions, whether they're one-on-one, like in person, or online. to get the energy flowing and get them to really feel that, expansion of their heart space, and then use that to get the energy flowing through the other centers, and really tap into their intuition, because your intuition is your biggest asset. And
Absolutely.
People say, oh, I just need to get this qualification, I just need to do this to prove that I'm worthy, to prove that I'm enough, when really the only certification they need is their own trusting of their own intuition and their own journey and gifts to bring to the world.
Love that, because we're also trapped in our heads, aren't we? So how can people identify if they do have blocked energy? Because most of us don't realize. We're just sort of traveling in our life, trying to, like, Abraham says, bumping up against resistance, yet we don't know how to release that. So what are some of the signs that people can look for to help them identify, okay, maybe I do have blocked energy?
I would say that if you are in your head a lot and your mind races, if you feel anxiety, or you feel like knots in your stomach all the time, where you're waiting for something bad to happen, or it feels like you're on this tipping point of, oh, I've just got to keep going and going, or everything's going to fall apart. And my top tip, and how I started the journey of unblocking my own energy, and it's
perfect.
not just I come and see you when you're healed. It's that helps and accelerates the journey, but it's a daily practice. It's
exactly.
taking time every day to meditate and breathe. And if you don't like the word meditation, call it mindfulness, or just pressing pause, a good friend of mine, Jody, says, or just taking a breath.
Love it.
And listening to yourself and your own flow.
Absolutely, because we're all just in go, 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 aren't we?
Exactly.
We don't really take the time to stop, and we don't really take the time to feel, and we don't really take the time to recognize. So I love that. I love what you do. I love looking at all the testimonials on your pages, and it's brilliant. I love what you do. I think you're gorgeous. And I also love seeing how I've seen some of your lives where you do art intuitively. So I've seen some of your lives where you said, I just had this feeling, this intuition that I needed to create this artwork, and the client hadn't even come into your space yet you intuit that. Tell us about your art. I love that. How do you do that?
Well, again, that's been a daily practice of just following. So I started back into that world through life drawing, actually, and I started modeling at life drawing sessions with a really good friend of mine, and she sort of mentored me, and I loved the creative energy of the artists, and I really loved being the muse for that, and seeing my own body through the eyes of an artist. And what that made me realize is that what if everyone could see themselves through the eyes of an artist? Because you look in the mirror and you don't see the beauty and the energy that's behind this physical body. But artists have an ability to tap into the energy.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So I've really cultivated that, and if I have a feeling to go and draw something, if I don't know how to draw it, I'll Google drawings of blah blah blah, and then I'll just have a go at drawing whatever it is, and it usually turns into a painting that, like, then the energy just overtakes me, and I have this this explosive thing happen. It's always very quick, and sometimes it will be a client that I'm already working with that their energy sort of spurs me on for the artwork. And like you said, other times I'll do an artwork and then the client will come into my awareness a month or a few weeks later or something, and I'll be walking past the artwork on the wall and I'll go, oh, that's for them. So it's almost like energetically we were connected before we even met.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So So tell me, why are you so passionate about doing this work?
I have found so much joy in working out what my gifts are and bringing them to the world. And it's not, it's really about deep connection with people for me, and helping others have that same joy and that same love for themselves and their own creations and their own passions and gifts, instead of following the bouncing ball of what you know, the construct of life has told them that they should do, whether it's their parents or the society or the school that they went to or their peers, you know, like leaving all that to the side and actually focusing on and it's just such rewarding work, Anna. You know, people unlock all of this energy, and then they go and write books, and they go and create communities, and it's this ripple effect that I see happen every day of my life, and I'm tearing up when I say this because
I love that. Oh,
it's
so gorgeous.
It's really magical for me.
So how would you advise people, how can they discover their gifts?
My advice would be, firstly, when you wake up in the morning, don't reach for your phone.
Yeah, that's
Take
hard.
5 minutes. It is hard.
I know.
Go to the bathroom if that's the first thing that you do, and then take 5 minutes to just sit and breathe and feel because that's the magic of the day. That's the first, you're taking control of what and that advice comes from Mel Robbins' 5-second
yes,
rule.
the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. I love that.
Yeah, and her big thing is leave your phone alone. Like, don't let it control how you start your day. And then start to write. Writing is amazing. Start to write what you're grateful for. Start to write I am, and then just see what flows. I was writing I am an artist, I am a poet, I am a healer years before I sold my first artwork, or you know, because I had to truly believe it before it became a reality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. So you channeled, or you drew that into you by stepping into the energy of that before it was even there.
Yes.
Love that.
Exactly.
Tell us about your poetry, because that's gorgeous as well. You're always multi-talented. And it all like 5 years before, or it started 5 years ago, you weren't doing any of that?
No.
So this is all just came out of
every day. I was working 13-hour days in the family business. You know, I was the mother who would arrive at the daycare centre at 6:05 at night and be the last one to pick up my kids because I was so stressed about getting the work done.
Yeah, that's
anyway,
awesome.
It wasn't a great time.
No, that's wonderful.
Yeah, no, my poetry actually started. It actually came about when I met my now partner, and that was 4 years ago. And he was writing a bit at the time, and we used to write to each other, and it started as prose, you know, and then all of a sudden something clicked and it started to rhyme and have rhythm, and I used it as a processing tool for myself. So the oracle cards that I created are basically a snapshot of the last, you know, 4 to 5 years of my life's healing work for myself. And I was writing all the time, and I just found it really powerful for my own processing. So that's how that was sort of cultivated, and now it's just a natural thing for me. Something, well, you might have seen the poem that I wrote last night. Just comes to me. This is what I need to know for myself. This is what collectively people need to connect with and know about, and the poem will just flow.
So tell us about your oracle cards. Have you got any on hand to show people?
Oh, actually, I do, but I'll have to run off and get them.
Well, tell us about them. Or do you want to run off and get them?
I will. I'll grab them.
Okay, yeah, because you guys have got to see these. You know, Nicolette's really talented, and that's why I brought her on, because I want you guys to see what she does and how she does it. And the testimonials that are on her page, on her wall, are really transformational. So yeah, she's certainly someone to connect with if you're feeling stuck. So look at her oracle cards. It's awesome. What's the deck
So
called?
it's just called Oracle Cards by
Okay,
Nicolette Jane.
Okay, gorgeous.
I'm in the process of doing the second deck at the moment, and but I'm just going to number them. There's 44 cards in this deck.
Okay.
So.
And who did the artwork? Is that your artwork?
Yeah, it's all mine.
Wow, look at that.
And I really, I was doing all this artwork and writing all this poetry, and I kept thinking to myself, I want to put this together, but I don't know how. And so I just started posting it on Instagram.
Yeah, gorgeous. Look at that.
But then I started using oracle cards for myself. And for those of you who don't use oracle cards or aren't familiar with them, the way I like to explain it is they work on the premise that everything happens for a reason. So if you are drawn to a deck of cards in a shop and you take them home and you sit there and you think, what do I need to know today? And you shuffle the cards and you draw a card. The card that you draw has a message for you. So, and that's all happened for a reason that we can't explain. But so with my cards, because I'm so connected with them, and I'm connected with my clients, I use them in my healing sessions. I use them in my mentoring of people, and I will draw like 1 to 3 cards depending on, what I feel and it's just about trusting my intuition.
Yeah,
Which part of my journey do they need to connect with to heal whatever is happening for them at that time. And I use the cards as a tool for that. And then I teach them how to use them themselves on a daily basis. And my clients are now using them for card readings for their friends and their family and their own clients, which is like so cool. Yeah.
And all because you started to do to step into, okay, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose after a breakdown or a breakdown in marriage? That's amazing. Yes, and look what's happened. So how can people trust, what would you recommend? How do people trust their intuition? I know you talked about getting up and having space and writing, but what would you recommend? Okay.
It's practice of, talk about the 5-second rule. Well, I like to think about the 1 or 2 second rule. If you have a thought, if you ask yourself, what do I need to do in this situation? And the first thought that comes into your mind, you trust it and act on it, and you do that repeatedly, you learn to trust your own judgment, which is trusting your own intuition of what path you should follow. So it's really that's basically how I have built the new, the new version of me. Is just trust and surrender that I know, like my heart knows what is the right thing to do for me.
And you've allowed it, you've opened it up so that you can follow it and listen to it and look what's happened.
Exactly.
Amazing. Now you're helping others transform. I love that.
The start of that process was really trusting that ending the marriage was the right decision. And to see my children now, they now see a version of me that was, through no fault of my ex-husband. It was just the dynamic between us and the way I related to him. But they now see me as the full version of me. And that is the example that I'm setting them, where at the time it's really like, oh, am I ruining their lives?
I know. It's hard. I mean, that would have been such a hard decision to make.
Yeah, it was a very difficult time, but through adversity comes growth.
Absolutely.
And I'm really glad that I went through it.
Yeah, wonderful. And you've become that person who you are today because of it. That's amazing. So that'll hopefully give people some courage to make choices or decisions that will serve them. Can I put you on the spot and just to ask you to pull a card and just give the people just a collective consciousness? Yeah, because they're your cards you've created, and they're from your heart and your soul and intuition. What are the people on the call as a collective? What do they need to hear? That'd be amazing.
What do they need to hear today? So I'll get you to take a big breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we'll do 2 more of those. So when you breathe in through your nose, draw in the energy of the universe, the joy, the light, the love, and then expel anything that no longer serves us and the collective.
Okay. All right.
So 2 more of those. Breathing in. And 1 more. Beautiful.
Gorgeous. Love it.
So this one is heart versus head. Tune into the truth. That's just what we were talking about, right?
Exactly. Awesome.
Everyone
Love
says,
it.
I want to get out of my head.
Yeah,
Into my heart.
exactly.
Your heart beats if you will listen. It tells your story, your life's true path. Tuning in is the art of guts, grit, and determination. Follow it and feel the elation of listening to your truths, your passions, your desire to be uninhibited, expressive, and free.
Wonderful. Perfect. See, I knew that I intuitively, I needed to ask you to do that. And then that is going to show, the audience exactly how this works. It's intuition, It's alignment. And when we get into that intuition and alignment, this is exactly what shows up, the evidence, the proof. And that card is
absolutely.
I love that. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Tell us about your crystal bowls, your meditations. I tune in to your lives, and you're doing them on the beach. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. That backdrop of the ocean and your crystal bowls and your meditation music. Tell us a little bit about that. How you started that? How did you start the crystal bowls, and the purpose, for or behind it? Love to hear that.
So the singing bowls really started when I started working with Stanzi Langtree, and the first retreat that I went to of hers, which was very transformational, I bought a little Tibetan singing bowl. It was like this big. And then the next retreat I went to, there was actually a sound healing learning session that we went to, that she got a gong master in to teach us, and I bought a bigger Tibetan singing bowl.
Is that the copper ones or the brass ones? Yeah, okay. I got one of those.
Yeah, they're a mixture, I think.
Okay.
My partner is the expert on metals. I'm not, but
okay.
Yeah, and then when I got home from that retreat, I was really called to find out more about the crystal bowls, because Stanzi uses them a lot in her work, and I really felt the transformation in me in listening to her meditations. And so I went to, there's a beautiful place in Redcliffe in Brisbane, which I'll send you the link as well.
Absolutely.
And a lovely couple there who have just devoted their life to these crystal bowls, and they import them from America, and they travel the world doing healings for people with these bowls. Anyway, so I did a course with them, and I bought a bowl, which is my big heart bowl. And then I became a bit obsessed, and I then bought another 4 bowls after that, and that constitutes my set. So I've got the 2 that I bought with Stanzi, and then those. And the reason that I love the bowls so much is that the vibration of them carries my intention. So if I intend a meditation to release judgment, for example, and that's what I'm talking about, and I'm playing the bowls while I'm leading the meditation, the vibration actually carries my intention to people. And that's, people say to me all the time, oh, I did your meditation and I started crying. Is that normal?
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yes, that's good. That's energy moving.
That's perfect.
Yes,
perfect.
Perfect.
Love that. So how often do you do your crystal bowls? Is that a daily thing?
Every day.
Okay, every day.
And I do the lead meditations in one of my groups. I do it once a week. The other one is more for entrepreneurs and business people, and I just do that whenever I feel my own breakthrough in my own spiritual journey and business, because as you know, it's a spiritual journey.
It is a spiritual journey, absolutely.
And then I also use them with my my group coaching and one-on-one.
Yep.
And in my group coaching, I do more the meditations more often to keep people accountable, because I find people like, I know I need to meditate, but I'm just not doing it. So I
know.
create an environment where they're accountable and they need to do it. So
and it helps when you're accountable to somebody, because it's so easy to get into our rut, into our pattern where we're not doing what's going to serve us. We're actually doing what's disempowering us rather than empowering us. It's just habit, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Habits, breaking the habits and creating new ones.
Absolutely. So can you share with us, what are your daily rituals? What would you recommend people do on a daily basis? I know you've shared a bit, but if we kind of like, what do you do? Like when you wake up in the morning, what are Nicolette Jane's daily rituals?
My daily rituals are, I get up in the morning, I go to the bathroom, I come back, I meditate for at least 5 minutes. Most of the time, 10 minutes. If I feel like there's a lot downloading, it might be 15 or 20 minutes.
So is this a meditation that you just your awareness? You just step into your own awareness? It's not guided, you're not listening to anything?
It changes depending on what I'm going through at the time. Sometimes it will be like a chanting meditation. Other times it will be just listening to myself play the singing bowls. Like I've got a recording of myself playing the bowls on the beach, and I love that.
Oh, gorgeous.
I love that, the birds in the background and the sound of the ocean as well. So that really puts me in that place of relaxation and flow. So so I do that, and then I usually journal my gratitude and my I am practice, and see what flows out of that. So at the moment I'm writing things like, I am a conduit for enlightenment. I attract people who are ready to tap into their intuition. Whatever's true for me at the moment will flow out, and whatever I'm wanting to manifest, which is, I'm sure you'd have plenty of tips for me on the language that I could use around that. And then I go for a walk or a run in nature in the mornings.
Beautiful. Sounds very much in alignment with what I do, because when you're awakened, when you're conscious, when you're living a conscious life, these are things that there's an internal desire for us to do them. Are you finding that too? Absolutely.
If I don't do it, I feel like something's
get out of whack
in my day. Yes,
exactly. And so that's a really good practice. So for the listeners to start to adopt some of these practices on a daily basis, even if it's just to do 5 minutes of one thing, and then slowly add to it to become sort of like
stacks.
It
stacks,
absolutely.
and it's about keeping the flow of energy going. So when we don't do it, our being is like, oh, hang on, where's that energy flow gone?
Love it. Absolutely love it. So what are your three wisdom tips? I guess you've already given us lots of, but 3 wisdom tips in the area that, like in the energy area, that you could share to people. Like 3 things, we've talked a lot about them, but 3 tips that you would give to people to help them shift their energy, get in flow, wake up to their intuition, and start living on purpose and clear blocks.
So I've already said, get up and meditate, or be mindful. Journal. Write down who you are, because you are whatever you say you are. You're not who everyone else says you are.
That's right. We're malleable beings.
Yeah, and the other tip that I'll give people is, and it's very simple healing technique, is once you feel that connection in your heart space, concentrate on expanding that, and then you can use that energy in other parts of your body. So if I'm feeling like I'm not telling my I'm missing a bit of confidence to tell my whole truth, I might sit during meditation, like drawing the energy from my heart space to my throat. Or if I've got a knot in my stomach about, I don't even know what it is, because oftentimes we don't even know what it is. And it doesn't matter what it is. The importance is that we get the energy flowing and give ourselves the self-love to accept and nurture ourselves. So put your hand on your heart and your hand on your tummy if that's what's happening, and just sit and breathe. And, you know, everyone can heal themselves.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
my
awesome.
third.
Love that. So how can people find you, Nicolette?
So you can find me. I've got a Facebook page. I'm very active on my personal profile, and I've also got Instagram. I'll put clicks in the link.
Yes, please.
Links in the comments.
Yes.
And I have Facebook groups as well. So whichever way is, just reach out. Send me a message.
So you do group coaching. Can you share with the people, what do you do? What can you offer?
Okay, so I'm actually starting a new group coaching program for the month of November, going into a little bit of December on the 11th of November. And I combine that with one-on-one sessions. So I do 2 to 3 one-on-one healing sessions, and then I combine that with group coaching, and I find the energy of the two works really well to really shift people up into the next level of their life. I also do just one-off healing sessions. I also do half an hour card reading sessions. But if you want to just get a free card reading, you can get that on a Friday in my Soul Support Circle group. I do that every Friday. So
perfect. And you put all those links below for people so they can find you. Wonderful. Do you have a retreat coming up as well?
No, I actually postponed that retreat to next year, but that's going to be on the calendar to stay tuned.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much. Is there any other words of wisdom you'd like to share? Well, we've covered it all pretty much.
We have covered it all, but really, you know, as you said that, I felt this feeling in my heart. Tap into your heart. You know, when people say, I want to get out of my head and into my heart, don't just say it, actually do it.
Yes. What a wonderful conversation. We've been on for half an hour.
Oh, wow.
And it's just passed so quickly. I love that. And you've shared so much value. I've really appreciated you jumping on a live with me for my audience. And I really hope that people will reach out if they want the energy blocks to be healed and moved. And then Nicolette's the person to help you do that. So I really appreciate your time. I've learned a lot.
You're welcome.
It's been awesome. I love it. It was a great conversation.
The rest of my day will be on this high of my energy connection with you. So thank you.
Perfect. And that card reading, oh, beautiful.
And I'll put a photo of that in the comments as well.
Excellent. And yeah, you can show people how they can get a hold of your deck as well. Just put all the comments below. People can find you there. So thank you so much, gorgeous Nicolette Jane. I'm so glad I met you. That, like divine timing. Otherwise, if I didn't go to that energy alignment, we wouldn't have met. So
no, exactly.
I know.
It all happened for a reason.
Absolutely. And you've shared that with everybody today, how when you follow your intuition, what can change in your life. Beautiful. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Anna.
All right, I'll talk to you offline.
Yes, awesome.
Right.
Bye.
Bye, darling. Bye.